Picture this. The world is waking up, and somewhere deep beneath the earth, copper is being pulled from the ground just as it has been for centuries. It was a Tuesday morning just like any other. People rushed to work, coffee in hand, unaware that everything was about to change. Then boom, the White House made an announcement that would ripple across the globe. President Trump declared a massive 50% import tax on all copper coming into the United States. The news was bold. It's unexpected and impossible to ignore. The goal: protect American copper miners, revive local industry, and bring jobs back home to communities that had seen factories close. Claimed other countries were selling copper too cheaply, undercutting us businesses and making it nearly impossible for them to compete. The new shit? The market's like a lightning bolt. Investors scrambled and through the financial world. A 50% tariff is a giant shove, not a gentle nudge. It sent shockwaves through the copper industry overnight. The idea was simple. Foreign copper so expensive that American companions would have no choice but to buy American-made copper, boosting domestic reduction. But global trade is a complex web. You can't just pull one string without shaking the whole system. Every action has a reaction, often in unexpected places. The US buys a lot of copper from Canada, its biggest supplier. Suddenly, even friendly neighbors were caught in the crossfire. This new tariff threatened to blow up a system that had worked smoothly for years, risking jobs and contracts on both sides of the border. It was a fundamental rewriting of the rules businesses relied on, forcing companies to rethink their entire supply chains overnight. The stage was set for a massive economic drama, with consequences that would reach far beyond copper mine sand trading floors. On one side, a president trying to protect an industry and fulfill campaign promises. On the other, a world of interconnectedness. Suddenly facing new risks, the simple reddish-brown metal that powers our modern world. Everything from smartphones to power grids was suddenly at the center of a high-stake incineration showdown. And nobody from miners to CEOs was quite ready for the fallout that was about to unfold. Canada did not take the news sitting down. The announcement of the new tariff sent shockwaves through Ottawa, and officials wasted no time in formulating a response. The Canadian government called the 50% tariff not only unfair, but also a direct violation of long-standing trade agreements between the two countries. They made it clear that such a move would not go onward. In a bold and immediate tariff response, Canada halted all copper exports to the United States effectively at once with no warning. This was a shocking countermove that caught many by surprise, both in government and in the business world. Before the tariff, Canada supplied about 40% of all imported copper to the US, making it the single largest foreign source of copper for American industries. When that supply stopped, it was like a major highway closing during rush hour. Everything ground to a halt, and cows quickly followed. There was an immediate shirt, as warehouses and storage facilities began to run dry almost overnight. American companies with Canadian contracts were left empty-handed, scrambling to find alternative sources that simply didn't exist at the scale they needed. The price of copper in the US skyrocketed overnight, sending shockwaves through the financial markets and causing panic among investors. Domestic copper production couldn't fill the gap. American mines and refineries were already operating near capacity, and ramping up output would take months, if not years. Within a week, copper price jumped from $3.50 to over $5 per pound, a staggering increase that sent costs soaring for manufacturers and builders alike. For manufacturers, this was a full-blown crisis. Production line is slowed, and in some cases ground to a complete stop as copper became nearly impossible to source. Companies that relied on stable copper prices were caught off guard, forced to rethink budgets, and delay projects as costs spiraled out of control. Canada's move was a calculated risk. They knew that it lose business in the short term, but they also knew the US would feel evolved more pain from the sudden shortage. The hope was that economic chaos would force us to reconsider the tariff and perhaps even come back to the negotiating table. It was a high-stakes game of economic chicken with both sides, waiting to see who would blink first. Canada called America's. "Bluff, you think you don't need our copper? Let's see how that works out," one official declared in a televised interview, their tone both defiant and resolute. The once friendly Northern border had suddenly become a hard economic wall, dividing two nations that had long depended on each other. The copper supply chain was broken, and the effects rippled outwards, impacting industries far beyond just mining and manufacturing. The U.S. faced a crisis it hadn't anticipated, with business leaders and government officials scrambling to find solutions. The fallout was just beginning, and no one could predict how far the consequence would reach or how long the standoff would last. The chaos hit American companies like a tidal wave, catching many off guard and unprepared for the sudden changes. Car manufacturers, whose about 50 pounds of copper per vehicle saw costs soar almost overnight, putting immense pressure on their already tight budgets. Do they absorb the extra cost or pass it to customers? Either was good. Raising prices risked losing buyers, but eating the cost threatened it their bottom line. Construction projects stalled as copper prices spiked. Contractors faced budget overruns. Many had to renegotiate contracts or deli work, causing frustration for clients and workers alike. Some small companies couldn't afford the new prices and shut down, leaving communities with empty storefronts and lost jobs. Small businesses like electricians saw their profit margins vanish. Every job became a gamble, with costs changing week to week. Many had to lay off employees, cutting staff just to survive another month. Others dipped into savings just to stay afloat, watching their financial safety nets disappear. The tariff meant to help American workers was ironically hurting them, fueling anger in Protestant industrial towns. Companies scrambled for copper, looking to South America, Canada, and any supplier they could find outside the tariff's reach. Some turned to recycling scrap, but supplies were limited and competition fierce, driving prices even higher. Shipping from new sources was slower and more expensive, with longer wait times and higher freight costs. The once smooth supply chain became a chaotic mess, with delays shortages becoming the new normal. Businesses spent more time and money just finding basic materials, often juggling multiple suppliers, and uncertain delivery dates. The scramble for copper was desperate, with companies competing fiercely for every available pound. The entire industry was thrown into uncertainty, with leaders unsure how long the crisis would last or how deep damage would go. The ripple effect spread across the economy, touching every corner of American life and leaving a trail of disruption in their wake. While American companies panicked, Canada made new plans. With copper piling up, they turned to Asia and Europe. Countries like China, Japan, and Germany eagerly bought Canadian copper. New trade routes were established within months. Ships that once sailed to American ports now headed across oceans. China, expanding its electric vehicle and renewable energy sectors, became a major customer. Canada signed multi-year contracts and invested in new port infrastructure. The export economy was rewired away from U.S. dependence. The tariff meant to protect the U.S. market ended up isolating it. Even if the tariff disappeared, Canada had other loyal customers. The U.S. lost its position as the preferred buyer. It would have to compete for copper on the global market. The bold move to control supply backfired. Canada diversified and became stronger. The world trade map was redrawn. The U.S. was left with less influence than before. The economic damage was immense. Economists estimated $4.2 billion loss in just the first year. Higher copper prices, production delays, and lost business all added up. The tariff meant to create jobs. Instead, vaporize billions from the economy. Most of the ecos came from companies paying more for copper. This extra money didn't go to new jobs or technology, it just covered inflated material costs. For every job gained in copper mining, over 50 were lost elsewhere. Manufacturing, construction, and electrical company, Sal cut staff. The net effect: a clear loss for American workers. The chaos made the U.S. less attractive for investment. International companies hesitated to build factories in such an unsustainable environment. The $4.20 billion figure might not even capture the full damage. America's reputation as a reliable place to do business took a hit. Why did attacks on one metal cause such chaos? Because copper is everywhere. It's in your phone, computer, and the power cord charging. Copper is essential for anything that runs on electricity. Without copper wiring, our digital age would grind to a halt. It's in your homes, wires, plumbing, and appliances. Even bronze doorknobs contain copper. The global shift to green energy and electric vehicles is driving demand even higher. An electric car uses 4 times as much copper as a gas car. Wind turbines' ancillary panels rely on copper, too. ITER didn't just hit old industries, it hit the heart of America's future economy. It made building electric cars and renewable energy grids more expensive. By raising the price of a fundamental material, the policy slowed progress. Copper is woven into everything we make and do. In Thieftermouth, there were few winners and many losers. U.S. copper mining companies saw short-term profits and stock gains, but